Hi, this is Kara from the Special Needs Mom podcast.
And this is Angela from Especially Organized, Sensible Solutions for Special Needs Moms.
We have this heart for special needs moms. And so we thought, you know what, let's combine forces. And we have come up with what we're calling the Purge Party. And you can pretty much guess what it is. It's a party where we're going to come together and we're going to purge, or in general, accomplish a goal, a small goal together. So we have set this for January 27th, starting at 8 o'clock for my Pacific Coast people,
which means 11 o'clock for all of you on the East Coast. So this is an opportunity. If you have something on your to-do list that has just been stuck there and you are wanting to move it up on the list, you're wanting to tackle, maybe it's a space or an area of your home or a category in your home that has just needed a little time and attention. This is your opportunity for you to be online with us while you work and have access for us to help you answer your questions, help guide you, and just serve you for those 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you can tell like what we've designed is just this very high level of support for that project that you just haven't been able to tackle on your own. The thing that we are envisioning is that you get to leave this purge party feeling so accomplished because you did the thing. You started the year off getting that thing done that you were stuck on last year. And so it's a momentum builder, if you will. You can go ahead and sign up. We have a link ready for you, and we are offering this for $40 for the whole experience.
Absolutely. And we hope you'll join us. I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a great group of moms of special needs kids. So we all get each other. We all have an understanding of what it's like to have something on our to-do list, but just we haven't been able to tackle it yet. So I hope that you will join us. We're super excited to bring this to you, and we are thrilled to work with you.
All right. We'll see you all there. Hi, I'm Kara Riska, life coach, wife, and the mother of 4 incredible and unique kids. It wasn't all that long ago that my son received a diagnosis that had my world come crashing down. I completely lacked the ability to see past the circumstances, which felt impossible, and the dreams I once had for my life and family felt destroyed. Fast forward past many years of surviving and not at all thriving, and you'll see a mom who trusts that she can handle anything that comes her way and has access to the power and grace that once felt so completely lacking. I started the Special Needs Mom podcast to create connection and community with moms who find themselves up against what feels impossible. My intention is to spark the flare of possibility in your own life and rekindle the dreams that you hold impossible now. This isn't a podcast about your special needs child. This is a podcast about you. If you're a mom who feels anxious, alone, or stuck, then you are in the right place. Welcome. Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Special Needs Mom podcast. I'm recording this episode in the morning, which is kind of fun. Normally, I'm usually recording in the afternoon or even evening. I really like it. I like the calmness of the morning. Half of my kids are not awake yet, and so it's a little bit more calm. And I realize some of you are new here, and so welcome. And if you're returning back, welcome too. For those of you that are new, my name is Kara, like I said in the intro, and I'm a mom to 4 children, one of who is a brain tumor survivor back in 2011 when he was 2 years old. He's 11 now. And we swim in a lot of pools when it comes to diagnoses. We have dipped our toe, obviously, in cancer, in brain damage, in visual impairment, in behavioral issues, in physical disabilities, in medical. I don't even know what we call this. I mean, hashtag medical mama, but I don't know how you describe medical fragile, medical complex. I don't know what we say here. Help me out. And so I feel like I have this unique perspective, not that I understand everything by any means, but that because of the places that we've gone in this journey, I feel like I have a very unique perspective, a place I never thought I'd get to in life. Certainly as I grace the halls of all the therapeutic places and all the different doctor's offices and all the halls that we have spent hours and hours and hours in. And I know you guys have too. And so I think that creates this special sisterhood bond. And today we're going to talk about when people don't believe you. This topic came up for me when I was just chatting with a girlfriend the other night. I was laying in bed because it was like maybe, let's call it 5 or 6 o'clock. And I don't normally lay in my bed at that hour, PM. This is PM. Normally I am in bed at 5 a.m. Anyhow, okay, I was laying in bed suffering from a migraine. And so I was entertaining myself on my phone. And she and I were chatting back and forth on Voxer. I don't know if you guys know that app. It's like leaving different voice memos back and forth. And it's really fun. If you've never been on it, I recommend it. And so we're chatting back and forth. And I was telling her about a story that happened the previous weekend. And it was, I'll tell you guys the scene just because I think it's kind of funny. And I think you guys might get it, actually. Let me set the scene. It was Valentine's Day weekend on Sunday, and I planned an excursion for our family because, we got to get out of the house. And I thought, you know what? A couple years ago, we did a scavenger hunt down in Balboa Park. It was so random, but it was so fun. It gave my kids a little bit of a purpose to actually just have them meander around the park. Because if you tell your kids, oh, we're just going to walk around, they're not usually as excited. But if you say, we're going to go on a scavenger hunt and there's prizes at the end, there's a little bit more jump in their pep. Anyhow, so it started with us thinking how we can accommodate our son with a physical disability. And so we thought, okay, we'll bring his scooter. That'll help. It didn't really help. We had a lot of complaining and a lot of unhappiness. And I still don't totally understand why. And I think in my experience, it was okay, now I need to call more doctors and try to figure this out because this is not going how I thought it might. Okay, that was chapter 1. So we are already kind of operating on wow, this is not going very well. So we left that park actually and went to this beautiful park I'd never been to, always wanted to go. I think it's called the Bayfront or the Waterfront Park. It's in downtown San Diego, and we live in San Diego, but way up in North County. So we don't get down to downtown that often. And this park overlooks, I guess it'd be the bay. It's just really fun. It's really neat. And there was a teeter-totter at the park. And so my son with special needs was waiting in line and waiting for a long time. Mom, let's go on the teeter-totter. And so finally it opened up a spot. And so the whole family, the whole 6 of us were over there on the teeter-totter. And first, I think it was kid number 1 and kid number 3 on one end, and I think my husband was on the other end with kid number 4. Okay. I'm doing numbers because the names will get confusing. And I'm sure the numbers are too, but I thought, I don't know. It's fun. Okay. Work with me here. Okay. So they're teeter-tottering, and then kid number 2 gets off and is sitting in the middle of the teeter-totter because he's trying to be a stinker. And so this is when it's my turn to get on. So I'm on then with kid number 4. Kid number 4 is the smallest of our children. And so we're all of us on the teeter-totter, can you please, child number 2, can you please get off? The answer is an adamant no. So kid number 1 thinks, oh, I will launch him off. Not thinking of, I guess it would be physics. And if you try to launch somebody off of the middle of the teeter-totter, the actual result is you will launch somebody off of the end of the teeter-totter. And that somebody was me. Me, as I proceed to then smash child number 4, and then proceed to fly off the teeter-totter onto the ground and roll. It was a pretty graceful landing, if I do say so myself. But I was really more concerned with smashing child number 4. Okay, so meanwhile, I am on the ground. We're all oh my gosh, WTF, what is going on? Stop. And so I'm kind of still in, I'm trying to physically recover. I'm trying to help the crying child number 4, trying to figure out what just happened. Then out of the corner of my eye, I see child number 3 going after child number 2 with a vengeance. And I'm thinking, oh, how sweet. He's protecting me. That wasn't what happened. So then what happens is child number 3 runs to the car, which was not close. He runs to the car because he's I'm done. This one, he When he's upset, he's a fleer. He's going to like leave the scene and he needs his time. So he's fled the scene. So then all of us gather our belongings and we proceed to say, okay, I think this excursion is over. And of course, then we start to kind of try to debrief and figure out what happened. And we do learn from child number 3 that he was very much provoked by child number 2 doing something really mean to him. Literally just after the family had fallen off the teeter-totter. And so I'm obviously laughing at this scene, but it didn't feel very funny at the time. My husband and I kept being like, oh my gosh, people, because this was a busy day. It was Valentine's Day. People totally saw all that. Like they saw just what went down with his family. And they are probably like, whoa, wow. And we're like, wow, I wish we could get the footage from the city of San Diego, who probably has security cameras. Like it'd be great to just watch that. It would be so interesting to see it like from third party. I think because for us, the experience is it feels so extreme. And so I was telling my friend this story. It was a very long way of telling you that, but I thought it would be comic relief for some of you. I was telling her about this and I was saying, I think a lot of people don't believe me when I say stories about what happens in our home, like what my experience is. And so we were just talking about the concept of why. Like she asked why. I think as we were talking about it, I was like, I think because they can't picture it. They can't even fathom the idea that a child would do the things that our children do. Because in their mind, like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for a child to be so extreme and to be so nonsensical because they haven't ever seen it before. And I even a couple years ago, I had a conversation with another very good friend, and she even said, Kara, like, I don't believe you until I saw this today. Or I didn't believe you until I saw this. And I said, oh, really? She's like, yeah, I know. I mean, you've told me, but I think until I just saw it, like, it was really hard to like totally get. And I appreciated her sharing that with me because I knew she didn't think I was a liar, but it helped me understand how actually hard for others to understand what this is really like. And I don't want to separate us and say the others, but I think there is some degree of recognizing that some people don't yet have the capacity to really fully understand what it might be like to be in our shoes. Okay, and let me break this down on why this happens. This part I think is where I totally geek out and I get super fascinated. Here's my theory. So our brains are prediction machines. This is not a theory, that's actually a fact. They take in information, they compile it with what they've seen in the past, and they try to predict what's going to happen in the future. And they obviously are, it's prediction. They're not determining what's going to happen in the future. They're thinking about our brain. We're talking about our brain. Our brain is thinking about what could happen. It predicts what it thinks is possible. Again, it predicts what it thinks is possible. And now we have to recognize our brain only has the data to go off of that it has kind of by default, right? So what it's seen already or what it thinks is possible. And this is usually based off what it's seen already, right? So you see how it's kind of it's a good tool, right? It's actually worked very well to keep us alive. And this is how it does this. It predicts, and then it has us think about something, and then we feel something, and then we act from that. So it actually is a very effective way of having ourselves protect ourselves. Okay, let me break it down a little bit further. If your brain doesn't have past evidence to go off of, that it can form a believable thought about what's possible, then it literally doesn't think it's possible. It doesn't believe the possibility. So this is when we tell our friends what our lives are like, or when you try to explain the teeter-totter story and like you feel like they just don't get it. They don't get how crazy it was. Maybe it's because I'm not the most amazing storyteller, but whether it's that story or another, sometimes I'm like, I just don't feel like I can articulate, or I can really explain to people what this is like. I think it's because their brains just can't picture what we're experiencing. There's no point of reference. And even if they trust us as friends, I don't know if they can believe it to the same level as others can believe it if they've seen it with their own eyes, if they get it. And it's interesting to me as I think about this, because we have such a strong desire to be known, to be understood, and to be accepted. And so when we feel like people don't fully believe us, and again, not because they think we're lying, but they just don't get it, then I think it does maybe keep us in this other category where we don't feel fully known, fully understood, and fully held and accepted. And I keep seeing this actually come up. Here's what else I've been seeing come up. Just yesterday, I was working with a client, and it was actually about a dating relationship. So she's in a dating relationship, and she's been really struggling because she really adores this person, this guy, but there's some essential components missing for her that she's, through this relationship, has realized how essential they are. So she's been kind of struggling and trying to decide what she wants to choose in this relationship. And then along comes somebody randomly from another part of her life where, because of his actions, she believed something was possible for her to get this essential part of her relationship filled. And I'm leaving this vague because of confidentiality. Okay, so all of a sudden, she saw this component of a relationship possible. She saw that somebody could give her this essential piece that she wanted, that she didn't, I don't know, realize it, but I did, that the reason she was staying in this relationship is because she didn't think it was possible for her to get what she really wanted. Okay, so boom. Do you see how this works, right? So if we don't think something is possible, we don't act to get it. So she was actively staying in a relationship that she didn't love because she didn't think it was possible for her to really have what she wanted. So instantly, just like that, her brain went from not thinking it was possible to believing it was possible. And this is how it happens. Sometimes, remember, our brains are gathering evidence and their prediction machine. So what happened in an instant for her is her brain was connected to now evidence of, OMG, this is possible. And it changed what she believed was possible for her in a relationship. And sometimes it happens in a quick snap like that. And sometimes it happens in a slow and steady burn. It doesn't always happen in an instant like that, but obviously it can. Her brain just needed this little kick. As I apply this to the conversations that I've been having with you guys, with people that have reached out to me, which is the most amazing thing for me in the world, that I get to have relationships with you guys. But I see moms stuck in the same place. They don't see how something is possible usually because of their circumstance. So whether it's because of their child, or whether it's because of what their bank account says, or whether it's because of things that their spouse has said or hasn't said, or whether it's what doctors have said or haven't said, they can't picture it. They don't have any evidence to believe something is possible. So when it comes to thinking about having more peace in your life, it's like you don't even try. Because, why? Remember, because your brain's like, no, it's not worth the energy to even try because it's not possible. You don't sign up for that class or that program that you want to do to take your career to the next level because why? It's not possible. You don't step into the things that you have a desire for, but you instantly have more evidence for why it won't work or why you shouldn't do it than you do for why you should. I think this is the most fascinating, like absolutely fascinating. When I see this play out time and time again, it like blows my mind every time. It's definitely the most rewarding part of my job and of course my personal life. Like I get to experience this as well. And again, sometimes it's in an instant where you see something and it's almost just like you've taken off a pair of sunglasses, like really dark sunglasses, and you take them off and you just see so many things that you literally couldn't see before. Like your eyes just couldn't see them. An example for me is in the last actually couple months, I realized that I had a very strong belief that fun would not get me there. That fun was not a effective way of being that would have me produce the results that I want in my life. I have just been so conditioned to believing that working hard and work over everything else was the most secure way to kind of get to safety and have the experience of life that I wanted. Only it wasn't, because then it had me working hard all the time and unable to let loose and be flexible, especially in this time of COVID. And I've been working on this quite honestly for years, that this has been something, and maybe for the rest of my life, I don't know, will be something that I will have to be aware of. But my belief that fun can get me there, it just wasn't where I was starting from. And it's really fun to actually go gather evidence on the contrary. Now that I know that that is my belief, I can see more opportunities. I can recognize that letting go of the striving and the working hard is an equally effective way of achieving the life that I want. And it still blows my mind sometimes. So still sometimes I'm like, I don't know. But then I look at people in my life and I look at people that do operate, that don't operate from this like drive hard, work hard, no rest model. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. It's working for them. And it's the most intriguing thing for me to continue to like blow my mind on this. Okay. You guys can tell I'm a little fired up this morning. I just kind of actually feel like I'm going to jump out of my seat because, one, I love this topic a lot. You can tell. And I just came up with an opportunity for you guys. It's like the most obvious thing I could ever offer you. And I don't know why it didn't come to me sooner, but I just feel like it is, after hearing from you guys and seeing what you desire and seeing where you've stopped, I've created a group coaching program that is the perfect thing. It culminates the opportunity to have that individual coaching where you actually get to have the personal, customized work together with me. But you also get the group effect. Okay, remember back to how I was talking about how if you can't see something, it's really hard to believe it? Well, as you work in a group, you get to borrow those beliefs from other people. So whether or not, wherever you are on the journey, as you watch another mom in her life with equal or same challenges that you have, and you see her bending her beliefs and actually expanding what's possible for her, it actually compounds for you as well. It's like exponential as far as your brain being able to grab onto data, helping you bust out of these beliefs and these really strong feeling experiences that you have in your life. You know how at the beginning of this podcast, I shared that my mission is to create community and connection and to spark the belief of moving past what feels impossible in your own life? Well, this is it. This is the group that I'm creating. So let me tell you some more. This group is going to be kept small. The cohort will become your people. These are the women that you don't have to wonder if they're going to believe your story. They're going to know your story. They're going to be part of your pack, where they're not only going to be cheering you on from the sideline, they're going to be doing the work with you. And I just can't even tell you the power of doing this together. We'll hold you as a group, we'll coach you along the way, and you'll not only learn that having a life full of peace is possible, you are actually going to create it as part of this program. And if it's not necessarily peace that you want, if you want to stop feeling so hopeless and stuck, and let me tell you, that is one of the best feelings that I have experienced. When you come into a conversation, in specific, a coaching call, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I feel so stuck, and you literally can't see the way. And then you leave after an hour and you feel so connected to what is possible. It is the best feeling. The best feeling is getting connected to possibility. And it sounds a little lofty when I say it like that, but it actually is tangible. When you are connected to that possibility, it changes your entire being. It has you show up differently for yourself and, of course, for everybody around you. Okay, I could talk about this all day long, Avi, and this group is going to fill up fast because I'm offering it for a really accessible price. And I think because the value is out of this park. I also have, so I'll tell you all the details when you're on the call with me, because I have a lot of other ways of incorporating the power of this community through technology and through different modalities that are accessible for you as a mom that probably have your hands full a lot of the time. And I know you don't have a lot of time. You don't have hours and hours to sit in front of a computer or to read books or to do all those things. And so this is going to be the most effective, fun, and powerful way for you to step in to creating a life that you get what you want, that you create that peace, that feeling of control, like you have the agency in your life again. Okay, so what you need to do is click on the link in the show notes. It's super simple. It's just a contact me form. Just write in the contact me form on my website, I want to talk about the group. And again, this group is so new. I just made it. I don't even have a fun name for it. So maybe I'll come up with something and maybe we'll do that as part of the group. But I cannot wait to create this first cohort. And again, don't wait. If you want to get in this first one, I'm going to be offering actually special perks for this first one that I will probably only offer for the first group, but you will be the beta group and also be the ambassadors for future as you step into this opportunity. Have an amazing week, you guys. One more thing before we officially wrap up this show. Sometimes when I'm listening to podcasts, I have the experience of wanting more. I'm listening at the very end thinking, I sure wish that episode didn't end. I invite you, if you feel in any way the same way, I invite you to the Special Needs Mom podcast community, which is a free group that I host on Facebook, where we as a community of fellow moms who listen to this podcast and are experiencing life in similar shoes, get to talk to one another, get to share stories, get to actually interact. I hope you'll consider joining. See you over there.